Yo, disclaimer, we don't take ourselves seriously, neither should you. What's up? What's going on? What's going on?
Hey, so I just wanted to come here and do like another disclaimer on top of disclaimers that we already put in there, and just apologize for my words that I used. I still agree with what I said in the pod. There's a bit, and I'm sure you'll all see it soon. And what I was trying to say, and what I believe, is that this is not good footage. Sorry, Dan. Is that I want to believe the best in people, and I think that there is good and bad. Well, I said in the episode, I think that there is good and bad in everyone except one person. And then I used an example of a person who I thought was pretty horrible before the episode started. But I wanted to kind of make it not downplay what they've done or what they've said, because they're a fucking disgusting human being, but kind of like give them the benefit of the doubt, if you understand what I mean. But then now they've come out and they've said some really fucking like, I'm laughing, but I'm laughing so I don't cry, or like throw my phone across the room from where I am right now, basically. But yeah, they've come out and said some things that are just horrible. Again, we'll link it. I'll link it. And by me, I mean I'll give Dan a link and she'll put it on there, because I don't know how to do shit. But basically, this person, who you will find out, has said these fucking disgusting things that are just historically fucking correct. And I just wanted to come on here and say he's a piece of shit, and he doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt that I was trying to give him. So yeah, anyway, enjoy the episode. Bye.
We've recently been discussing how we are going to, I'm not going to say completely quit Zoom, because Zoom, is a great medium to have. It's not amazing. And who knows, wave 2 of COVID might hit, but we are looking towards having some IRL, would we call it that? In that we're going to be in the same room together.
1.5 meters apart from each other, though.
Ooh,
absolutely.
That's it.
Somehow.
Or if we make a barrier, Or else it's just going to be like really wide shots. Like, we can make it work.
Fine.
Cool.
So thank you next to Zoom. I would say you've been amazing, but that would be a lie considering my audio quality through some of it. But the thought, the concept, the idea was there. We loved it. We enjoyed it, but bigger and better things.
Yes,
absolutely.
Definitely. Bigger and better things. Speaking of some bigger and better things.
Oh, God.
I feel like we've been recently, just individually in our own different ways, in our own different realms, experienced bigger and better things. And I feel like there is one person specifically to thank for that. And that's this girl right here. Yeah.
You. Oh my God. Do we remember in I think it was the first episode that we uploaded, or maybe the second, how we briefly kind of mentioned manifesting, and how Dan is just changing the world one step at a time with her magical manifesting abilities? Well, we're going to focus on that, and she's going to give us how to teach us, help us manifest the goodness that we need in this world, please. Because the world's a mess. My life is a mess before you're manifesting. So
All right.
If we do it together, we'll get it done. Basically.
That's it. I think that step number 1 is just realizing that this like magical manifesting power or whatever is not something that is special to anyone. Every single person's got it. Y'all fucking got it. You can do it. Yeah. It's not like this thing that Dan does because she's like special or anything. Like I am, but we all are.
She's amazing. She's wonderful. She's unique. She's gifted. She's talented.
That was a lot. That was a lot that you just said. Thank you. So I think that there's a few things that ties into it, which we can get into in terms of loving yourself and your self-esteem and like knowing your worth and feeling like you are deserving of the things that you are asking for. Not so much that you're asking for, you are just welcoming them in. But there's the 2 key like actions to it that are kind of like that you can consciously. The second part, it's hard. And that's where even I'm not perfect at manifesting. So the first part is you have to want it and accept it into your life like you already have it. You just know that that's coming to you. Every time you got on the phone with me and told me this situation's messed up, and I said to you, no. This is coming. This is coming. I'm going to make this come for you, and now it's coming. Yeah? That was my language when I talked to you about it, like you already had it. It wasn't even a question. That's coming. You already have it. You already own that. Done.
So like a white girl basic bitch translation for that would be fake it till you make it. Sort of, maybe, in like a kind of, not exactly, but in a slightly different way, potentially, or...
See, like, I even draw issue, like, I guess, yes, but with practice, it's not a fake thing. It's not. You have to whole with your soul believe that's there, that's coming. Like, you have to. It can't be a part of you that thinks, oh, but maybe not, because that's not going to work.
Yeah,
that's not
it has to be like every part of you is like, yes, this is what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. You have to be 100%, even more so 120% sure that that's coming. It's done. It's already decided, and it is. You've decided. How many times have I been like, I've decided. I've decided. I've decided.
Every single time I talk to you.
There we go. And then the second part, which is definitely the hardest, is you need to detach from it. You need to let go of when that's going to happen completely, and you need to forget that you ever wanted it. Because when you don't detach from it and you think about it again and again and again and again, and how I want this, instead of focusing on how you want it, you end up focusing on the fact that there's a lack of it in your life. And then you end up manifesting that. It's the whole idea of like, you know, if you put something in the oven and you keep checking it every 5 seconds, it's never gonna fucking cook. Like, you gotta let it go, you know?
Yeah.
And that's...
Or if like, you're like, nah, I don't have time for this fuckboy anymore. Then like, as soon as you like, don't have time for him, he'll be like,
hi! Exactly. See? All this stuff that you see yourself that you actually ended up manifesting, and as soon as you detach from it. And it's the same thing of like when people are trying to let go of exes and they're like, why won't I let this go? Why won't they like try to come back? And then as soon as you move on, they come crawling back. It's that idea, as soon as you detach from it.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it's a hard thing. Like, I really struggle with that as well. Same thing, like I'm currently looking to move out of where I'm at and move into a new apartment, and there was this one place that I absolutely fell in love with and I wanted it. And then every day I'd think about, oh, has my application come through? Have they accepted my application for this apartment? And then every moment I did that, I got angry at myself because I'm checking the oven. I'm opening the oven, I'm checking what's going on. So I went back onto the rental listings and I was like, you know what? The second I fall in love with another apartment, I'm going to hear back from that application. Today. Literally today. We're moving forward with your application. Do you still want the property? I love it. See, but I also struggle. It's like sometimes when you want something really bad, say if you have career goals and you have them set and then there's a general like outline for what you want to do and what you want to achieve, it's hard to not think about it. So I still struggle with it.
Do you feel like your manifestations, is that the right word? I don't know. But do you feel like your manifestations that don't have a timeline on them like happen more regularly? Like when you manifest, do you manifest with a time frame or without a time frame?
You can't do time frames.
Uh-huh.
That's something that I learned early on. You need to, in order to detach from it, you can't have a need for it to happen at any time. And that's why I'd get so frustrated with you being like, your manifesting hasn't happened. I'm like, no, because it's not yet though, but it'll happen in the time that it's supposed to happen. And I think that's it. I didn't come to these conclusions on my own. Like, I'd always heard about manifesting and I was like, I want things all the time. I want things really fucking badly. Like, why isn't this working for me? How come when I want things, it doesn't work out, but when other people manifest things, they just come? Like, what the fuck is that? Like, it took me doing some research to realize that, like, the key point of it is detachment. You have to want it and then completely release it. That's hard.
Yeah. I feel like if I were to try to do manifesting for myself, thank God I have you. I will get there. But the timing thing is going to be something that I struggle with because you know me. I'm like, if I want something, I want it now. It's got to be like, I am an instant gratification kind of person.
Yeah.
Or if it's not instant gratification, it needs to be within like my time frame.
I was gonna say.
I just.
It's gonna be on Luna's timeline.
I'm in control, okay? I can't help it. I like to be in control. I'm sorry. I'm aware of it. I'm trying to work on it, but it's hard. And I feel like me manifesting, because of my controlling tendencies when it comes to timing of things, detachment just is that something that Luna will be capable of? Will we find out in a different episode? Maybe down the line at some point. Who knows?
Yes. You know what's going to happen?
Yes, we will. Being definite about this so that it happens.
The thing is, what's going to happen is this pod is going to take off. We're going to get a bunch of money. We're going to have your cheese fondue orgy. And then you're going to be like, this is what you're talking about. We wanted it and then we detached. And that was it. And that's it. But I feel like manifesting's a muscle. And like the more you do it, and like it is hard, but like as soon as something happens and you're like, oh shit, like, because I've had a few things that I manifested for myself, and every single time it happens, it only makes me more sure of the process. And when you're sure of the process, it's easier to do it because you're not doubting whether or not it's going to work. And that's why when it came to stuff like manifesting, whatever, for you, I was just like, I don't even need to stress. Because by that point, I'd already like scarily manifested a bunch of stuff for myself. I was like, well, this is just me now. But it took a sec. It took practice.
This is who I am.
Yeah. I'm still trying to get better, but it takes like practice to do.
Yeah. Again, something that requires patience, which I do not possess. But, you know, I'm learning. I have you, my manifesting sensei, to learn from. We all do.
Mm-hmm.
What would we call you? Because you can't say sensei because that's something else. What are we going to... The Madam of Manifesting? No, that sounds like a porno.
Yeah,
do you like that better? Do you want to sound like a porno?
Nah, I'm okay. You know who I am with talking about sex. Like, it makes me uncomfortable. Like, I'm all about doing the do with the person I'm doing it with. But like, as soon as you make me verbalize like what I want or what I'm thinking about, I'm just like,
I get that. But do you think that, I mean, this is getting off topic, but do you think that like it should be like that?
What do you mean?
Do you think that we should be able to talk about sex more openly?
Oh, absolutely. Like, if that's what you want to do, if you want to talk about sex that openly, that's great.
But do you But do you not want to talk about sex openly, or have you just been kind of taught or like made to feel like you shouldn't talk about sex openly, and so therefore when you do, you don't want to, if that makes sense?
I don't think it's so much that I don't want to, it's that I struggle to talk about it openly. I don't know, maybe that is like a conditioning thing from like the situations I've been brought up around, but I don't really think so. Like, I went to an all-girl Catholic school. All we talked about was sex because we had no fucking idea what we were talking about. Like, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I totally get that because like I went to like religious hoity-toity shitty schools too. But like even then, I think that it's a different kind of a conversation because like you said, when you're like in school, it's like it's all still very like taboo because you're a teenager basically.
Yeah.
But I feel like there needs to be more education around adults being able to have like open conversations about sex without it like being uncomfortable, because I don't think it's a bad thing, but I think it is something that is ingrained by society, not necessarily like families. Not I think go at like anyone in particular's family, but yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Sorry, I'm completely sidetracked by that.
It's fine. You've got me internally thinking about like, why am I so uncomfortable talking about it? And it comes down to like, well, why am I uncomfortable? I'm not like, one, I don't really know what I'm into. I just know what I'm in, like when I'm enjoying something, when I'm doing it. But if I were to describe what those things were, even though we've had private discussions about this and you've opened up to me about like blah, 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 I can't even bring myself to be like, yeah, me too. Like, I haven't even said that to you because I'm just kind of like, yeah. Because even me saying that, for some reason, I don't know why, but like, I just think I'm not comfortable. I don't know why. Fuck. Hopefully I can get comfortable with it.
I think speaking about sex is kind of like other things we've talked about in like the sense that if you're not, it relates a lot to like your level of like comfortability with yourself, not necessarily like your confidence or like your relationship with yourself, but how like comfortable you are with yourself, if that makes sense. So
yes.
I feel like I'm not a confident person, generally speaking. Like, if you actually know me, you know that I'm like fucking hermit crab. But like, I can put out like I'm super fucking confident, but in the inside, I'm not confident. But in terms of like my level of comfortability with the person that I am, I think I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
But not necessarily physically, but mentally. So that's why there are some things to do with sex that I'm like, yeah, I can do X, Y, and Z, and this is how I do X, Y, and Z, and I love A, B, C, D, and particularly D, and sometimes V, and a lot of like W, like, you know what I mean? But then there are other things that like someone will bring up, whether it be a partner or a friend, or like you're in a fucking sex shop buying lingerie and someone comes up to you and they're like, do you want to try this? And it's like, but like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It was actually a really interesting way of putting it, because like, I feel like I am very confident in myself, and like, or at least I very much aim and try to be and practice being that kind of person, because that's the kind of person I do want to be. But one thing I've always been really uncomfortable with is being sexy. And I know that like it happens when I'm in those situations or I'm being a certain way and I'm not thinking about it. But if someone was like, I just want you to pose real sexy, I just Nah, no, I don't know. Well, you will know. No, I just want to be one of those like candidly sexy people, you know? But I'm so uncomfortable with like someone being like, when I'm consciously doing it, you know? And I don't know.
See, I mean, I call bullshit on that because when we were doing like those photos on Chapel Street together, maybe on it, but after a while that you like got into it, at first you kind of like weren't enjoying it. But like you were like having a whale of a time after like the first couple of shots, like looking hot. And like you knew you looked hot too.
Yeah, but it's like I need to have a couple of shots. I need to have had the whole fucking day to warm up to it. And in my head, I'm not thinking to myself, be sexy. I'm being like, be fun, be hot, be like yourself. Like, but my aim in my head isn't, but you're like, yeah, exactly. But like, I can't, as soon as you put that word there, I'm just like, that's just for some reason so much to live up to. And I'm just not sure I can pull it off.
So literally the word sex. Because, so as soon as like the word sex is in a sentence, whether it's like the noun or the adjective or the verb or the whatever, the plural, sexting, like it just changes it. Is that right? Like not having a go at all, not having a go, just
no. I honestly, I think that's it. Like the thing is, like I can be in those situations and it's all fine and we're doing it and it's good, but like I can't talk about it, and I find it really, really like hard. Like it's such a fucking effort for me to be able to talk about like what I'm into or like even describing things. I'm just like maybe it might have something to do with the fact that I want to keep that stuff private, but like I don't know what that is.
Like if you want to keep,
but also I share some stuff with you. I probably share the most with you than anyone, definitely. Oh, you love that. You love being the best friend.
Yes.
I love that for you. Oh, that's so great. But yeah,
I love love, as I quote you. I love friend love. I love family love. I love all kinds of love. Some of it's confusing and slightly traumatizing, but most of it is great.
Mm-hmm.
Most of it is amazing.
Yes. I know that we once had a conversation about sex, and it was in an episode that we both agreed we didn't like because you said things that you were just like, oh, I'm not happy with how I said that. And then in the other part of the episode, you made me talk about sex, and I was just like, I don't want to. It's fine. It's in the vault now. Like, oh my God.
If we get a Patreon, maybe we'll put it up there.
Yeah,
but
totally. You want to pay us money to see that stuff? Fine. Actually, if anyone was going to pay us money for anything, it would be that episode. It's such a mystery, and they know it's about sex. Like
that episode, and then another episode we did before, like ages ago.
Yeah.
When we were able to film together.
Oh man, those episodes are cringy. Like I'm actually so glad that we got those episodes done because you can see that there's like this nervous energy we both have, and we're both like a little bit giggly and all that kind of stuff. And of course we're giggly now, but like it was good to get that we're doing a podcast thing out of our system so that we could be a bit more like about it.
Yeah. Do you think that that's going to come back when we film together though? Because the dynamic that like in person, because the dynamic that we've got at the moment is amazing, but like it's virtual. Like, how do you think that that's gonna like affect when we do film together?
I feel like.
Do you think it will? Do you think it'll be better? Do you think it'll be the same? Do you think it'll be giggly again? Like,
I feel like
we gonna drink.
I think
when
that
we're in person together?
If we drink, we're gonna pick up on each other's drunkenness a lot better, which is gonna make us both a lot more like outwardly drunk. You know. Because technically, I'm sitting here alone in my room with some ciders, you know, and we have gotten really drunk before, but I feel like I'd get much more wild.
Episode 3.
Oh my god, episode 3 is one of my favorite episodes, honestly.
I can't watch them more than once. Like, I don't know how you edit them. Also, I'm going to be able to edit when I get my new computer, so you're going to have to tell me how to do that. I'm getting like Final Cut Pro, whatever that thing is.
Ooh, yes.
Ooh, fancy.
That's super fancy.
But yeah, so that'll be something that I can help with. But yeah, I forgot what I was saying before I started rambling on about that fucking computer.
Talking about hanging together. That's cool. We got your place. We'll set up a little sesh at yours. We'll have my place. We'll set up a little thing at mine. It'll be fun.
You just sage the shit out of the room that we're gonna film in, though.
Yes. Oh, nice. Cool.
Also, you know how I don't know if we did it on the pod or if we filmed it before or after. I don't know. Basically, every episode before the podcast actually starts, Dan and I like talk for like 20 minutes, and then same thing happens after the podcast as well. On like reflecting on the podcast and like what we said and then things we forgot to say before the podcast. So basically, I don't remember if I mentioned this on an episode or just whilst we were like debriefing or rebriefing. Anyway, regardless, I got us some really fucking delicious vegan chicken for you to try when we filmed this, and it's been sitting in my freezer for fucking 2 weeks staring at me. So you need to just come over so we can film the goddamn episode.
Yes.
Because I really want to eat it.
We can make it like we'll make it an ASMR episode as well. Like
and the fun thing, the one where you eat.
Yeah, that one. But it's vegan, so it's like our own niche thing. We need to like explore different demographics. We did the makeup. It's time to do the ASMR. We should probably do some more tarot readings because like tarot readings. Have you seen how many subscribers tarot readers get? Some of them don't even show their face. Some of them do. They're not even wearing makeup. They didn't have good like microphones. And I'm sitting there fucking watching their shit for days. Like they so low effort. They are getting money because they got more than 100,000 subscribers. You know, fucking thousands upon thousands of views because people are into that. Why aren't we capitalizing on this? Why are we not doing this? We should be. We absolutely should be. I don't know. If you don't want to do your tarot reading, I'll do it. I'll do the. We should get drunk and read people's tarots, and that'll be our gimmick.
I'll read some tarot. You know, I read a because me and reading it. It's weird at the moment, but I'm getting more in touch with myself again, which is really good. I was telling Dan this before we started filming today. I feel like I'm coming back into myself. Had a lot of things happen over the last couple of years that have really just like held me back, to put it nicely, like for a lot of time. But I feel like now I'm in a place where I'm getting back in touch with the person that I was and the person that I wanted to be before all of this like madness happened, and it feels fucking great. And so cards are definitely something that I want to start reading again because they've always been like amazing. And I read a work colleague's cards the other night, and he was like, I was not expecting this to be so accurate and like on point. And I was like, I know, I'm amazing. But it's nice that even after like months of realistically not picking up the cards and not using my primary deck either, I used Rider-Waite, by the way.
I'm so proud of you. I love the Rider-Waite.
I know. I faced my fears. But that was the deck that he connected with the most when I showed him the options. So I was like, obviously, I've got to read that for you. But yeah, it was just nice to be like, not my primary deck, not something that I've done properly in a very long time, and I still have the ability to connect with the cards how I used to be able to connect with them. And like that to me is amazing. Like, because I always worry, particularly because of the relationship that I have with them. I'm not always shuffling them. Like, they're always there. They're always in my mind, but I don't always, like, I'm not with them always, if that makes sense. Yeah. And they're not always calling out to me either. And like, but sometimes they're like yelling at me and like I ignore them because I just can't deal with it. But other times they'll just be chilling and then I'll pick them up and it's still like nothing ever happened. I don't know. People who don't get tarot are like, what is she talking about? They're literally just cards. And it's like, they're not just cards. They are so much more than just cards. But maybe we'll do a Dan and Luna teach you how to do tarot one episode. Yeah. That could be cute.
Totally. I'd be so into that. I don't think that cards get mad at you for not hanging out with them. Like, I don't think that that's a thing. Even though I can understand that because they do feel like, especially because I've got 4 decks, they do kind of each have their own like personality and entity in the way that they read. You do kind of you associate a kind of like entity or entities with them, and that like they have feelings and they have ways, because they have ways of speaking. They all kind of come from a different like personality or a different point of view, and some of them will be real gentle and some of them are like, you're fucking up, like are real straight with you. So I get that, but I feel like cards are always just kind of like, they're there when you need them. They're there for you when you need that. But I feel like it's actually a healthy thing to not be with them and reading yourself all the time and becoming dependent on it yourself. If you're reading and you're reading a lot for other people and sometimes yourself, awesome, great. Especially for full-time tarot readers. Y'all are my heroes. I think you're incredible.
I would love to be able to do that, but it's just like, from where I am at the moment, like it's too much. Like I will not, but I potentially maybe one day would love to be able to read all the time for other people, to help other people, not for myself, but for others. Like that would be incredible. I would love to do that.
All right, we're doing the tarot reading side. I'm sorry, I've seen too many fucking channels on YouTube getting so many and I'm looking at the amount of time that I'm spending just like looking at tarot readings, and like it's the first time I think I've told like anyone. Like obviously we're into Tarotverse. It's got me like hooked onto like a couple of other readers. If you're the kind of person who I feel like watches that, you come to the realization that like not every reading's for you. But it's also just kind of like, sometimes it's the same thing with Tarotverse. Sometimes it's just the reassurance that you need. Sometimes it just makes you feel good. Sometimes it's just someone in the background talking as well. But for me, it's also helped me read and more intuitively as well. And just feel like a bit more at peace. And yeah, anyways, that's just, everyone's got that thing that they like listen to or whatever that just makes them feel like a bit more like chill. That's my thing.
Yeah. 100%. And hopefully for like you guys who are watching, it's our podcast. I mean, hopefully like our background chitty chatter about nothing in particular / tarot cards / fucking cheese orgies, lizard people, fucking you're all about it.
Yes.
Oh.
We got really off track somewhere. I want to shuffle my cards.
Yeah, we did. But I mean, who's surprised at that? Definitely not fucking me.
No.
We also kind of went into this one blind tonight too.
Did. Something that I wanted to bring up when it came to the manifesting. Let's just circle back to that, because I think it got a lot to do with spirituality and like the connectedness is like, you really need to accept that it's like I do believe in fairies. Like if you believe that it's going to work, it's going to work. If you believe that it's not going to work, you're manifesting that it's not going to work. So you can't come into it closed-minded. That's just not a thing. But also the whole idea of like not just thinking, but knowing that you deserve the things that you want and that the universe is working towards giving you those things, which is a very, very hard thing to do. And one of the hardest things to do, harder than detaching, when you don't feel 100% about yourself. Like, it is very, very hard to believe that you deserve the things that you want when you have parts of yourself that are divided. I think that's the best way to describe it, is that like if there are parts of yourself that you put away, and this is getting into stuff like shadow work, like if there are parts of yourself that you divide and put away into like, these are the good things I love about myself and these are the bad things that I want to fix or that I ignore, and these are the parts of me that are responsible for this, that, and the other, and they're evil and they're bad and they're monsters, and it's all that kind of stuff. It just leaves you internally divided, and then there's like part of you that you love and then part of you that you don't love, which still turns into self-hate, which just isn't actually self-love at the end of the day. So a big part of me learning to love myself and therefore being able to accept that I deserve good things is loving the parts of myself that I know I still need to work on, but being like not demonizing those parts, which I have been so guilty of in the past, being like, fuck that side of me that comes out when this happens, or that part of me that does this when I'm reacting to this kind of environment. Like, it's a really, really hard thing to do. But unifying yourself and being like, I look at how I am in those situations and I still want to give that girl a hug, and I still want to tell her that I love her and that she's perfect and that she isn't going to feel this way forever, kind of stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk to it. Breathing.
Yeah.
So that was all
I think it's important to have that positive relationship. I mean, regardless of manifesting or not. Like, obviously, it's important when it comes to manifesting. But I think it is also important to have that relationship with those parts of yourself that you don't necessarily always like. Like, just because you don't like a part of yourself doesn't necessarily, or a part of your personality, not necessarily you as a human being, but a part of your like personality, doesn't necessarily mean that that's a bad thing. Because I don't think that you can, there is no such thing personally as, and again, this isn't just for people, as a wholly good thing. Everything that is good has some bad in it. Everything that is bad has some good in it. It just depends on like the balance between those two things as to which one is deemed, whether it's deemed to be good or bad.
Yeah.
Like you can't, no one's perfect, as much as everyone ever has said that. Literally no one is fucking perfect, regardless of whether you are Gandhi or whether you are, no, I'm not going to use him as an example, Scott Morrison. Like, I know, personally don't like the man, but he must have some good features somewhere deep down inside him somewhere. Maybe he makes good jokes at Christmas. I don't fucking know. But that's still a good thing. It might be like this much, but there is a good. Because you can't be 100% bad and you can't be 100% good. You are always going to have a small part that is good to a large part that is bad, or a large part that is good to a small part good, or maybe a small 50-50. I don't know. There's always two sides to every coin. Just one side's going to be slightly dirtier or bigger than the other, I guess. I don't know. Scott Morrison was also a bad example, but that was better than the other option that I was thinking of.
Yeah. Okay. I think we all know the other example you were thinking of.
He is solely bad, by the way.
Yeah,
the other
absolutely. 100%.
But we're not even going to talk about that right now. That's a different fucking issue that will come at a later date.
something that I've just realized as you were talking about that was like, because we started with how like that it's the duality of like the good and bad, and something that I'm realizing now, and something that I kind of half realized a few years ago, was that because I had split myself apart in terms of like, these are the things I love about myself, and these are the reasons why I love myself, because I am capable of all these different things. And I used to get so frustrated with the parts of myself that didn't work in the same way. And I kind of demonize those things as like things that I need to get rid of and I need to change. And I would always treat those parts of myself, which are still completely and wholly parts of me, terribly. So for example, I would dissociate, and I still dissociate a lot, which is quite a typical Pisces thing where we just fucking zone off. But like, particularly would happen when I'm in a situation that I don't want to feel. My mind would just go, and I'm gone. And there'd be part of me that's mostly gone, and then there's that tiny bit of me left that's actually inhibiting the body and moving it around, and like aware that I've done it and that I'm gone and that I'm still kind of like, spatially aware of my body. And when that would happen and I knew I had to come back, that little part of me would yell at the part that left, being like, can you fucking not? Like, can you just come back here? You need to come back here.
Yeah.
Get back here now. This is ridiculous. Fuck you. Come back. Yeah. And it wasn't until I was in like a therapy session and it happened, and I was like, all right, I've just dissociated. I'm trying to drag her back over here so that she can come back. And then the person I was talking with was said, maybe just ask her if she wants to come back. Like, blew my fucking mind that the way that I fucking demonized that part of myself made me treat myself in a terrible way. Like, why? Because I don't love the parts of myself that I feel like aren't helping me as much as others, I am treating myself worse, which is just making it like split even more. Same goes with like, whenever I catch myself thinking negatively about my appearance, I'm a little bit like, fuck you, how dare you, not fucking helping. Whereas I'm now realizing that like, I shouldn't be talking to myself like that. Like, I get that I'm doing a good thing and I'm trying to teach myself not to, but maybe I should be like, hey, I get you're having a bad day and like, it's not true. And I see that like what you're thinking is a result of like the environment you are in right now in your headspace and like the other pressures that are around you. But like, please don't think that way. Like, there are ways that I could treat myself. Do you see what I'm talking about? I'm just realizing that I'm still with myself, even though I'm trying to progress. I'm like, I've still got all these divisions within myself and I'm still treating myself terribly, even though I'm trying to move myself forward. I just need to, even to those parts, love them enough to be kind to them.
But even then, like, the level of self-awareness that you have, like, far surpasses the level of self-awareness that I have, but then the level of self-awareness I have surpasses other people. But like, we can't, because we do have that higher level of awareness with our relationships and like our feelings towards ourselves, we can't like demonize ourselves for that. Like, you're like, oh, like, I'm not, maybe not mad, but you're like, oh, I could be treating myself better. Like, it's like, yeah, you could, but like, you're also treating yourself really fucking well in comparison to a lot of other people. So the fact that you're not acknowledging that first and being like, oh my God, I'm doing this so amazing. Like, this is amazing. High five me, you know? But maybe the next step for me will be to work on this, instead of being like, oh, why am I still being so nasty to myself when I am still being good to myself at the same time? Like, and I mean, it's so fucking hypocritical. Me talking to you about this.
Oh, I didn't mean that. Yeah. No, you've completely pointed out that I'm getting like annoyed at myself for not being kind to myself, and in me doing that, I'm getting annoyed at myself and not being kind to myself. Like, it's such a fucking practice for me to get frustrated with myself. And that's not okay. You need to let that shit go. Oh my god, I've literally had the most fucking cathartic fucking experience right now. I don't care if y'all thought this was boring, because this changed my life right now. I would have come out of this podcast different fucking damn. Like, I'm real happy. Like, this is great. Cool. All right, I'm gonna let you take the mic for a sec, because I've talked a lot. I appreciate you pointing out that I haven't been kind to myself in the process of me trying to be kind to myself and not doing it. And we're gonna get through it. Me and this girl, we got this. All right, Luna.
We all are.
Yeah,
because we all do it. Some of us are just more, as I was saying, like more along the journey than others. That still doesn't mean that, like, just because you're slightly further along or like miles ahead or miles behind or like middle way through, like, that doesn't mean that you still don't do it, like in terms of like getting annoyed at yourself. And it's fine that you do get annoyed at yourself, because that's a human fucking trait. But like, it's just, don't get too caught up in the fact that you're annoyed with yourself, because you have done a lot of good for yourself already. I don't know. I just find this fucking hilarious that I'm talking to you about being kind to yourself when I am literally the worst fucking human being to myself ever. And I'm so aware of it, but like, I can't, like, you know, like, I can't, I'm trying to get out of it. I'm not going to say I can't, because that's putting that out there. I am in the process of learning how to undo a lot of those lessons that I've either learnt subconsciously or been taught. And I have come a long way from where I have been before, but I still have a lot of work that I need to do. But I'm getting better at it. Some days I suck. Some days I really fucking suck. A lot. But that's okay, because I'm human and we all fuck up and have real shitty days and then shitty days. And yeah, but you know, the journey we're on it, we're all in this together. High School Musical, # would play the song, but probably copyrighted.
Yeah, Disney will come after us. Oh my gosh. Whew. I'm spent. Like, not like I'm ready to go on other things if you're really ready to bring them up, but like I just, my mind has been a little bit. So let's go. What's on your mind? We went through the manifesting, we did some sex stuff. You let Danny talk, and I really appreciate that. And you brought some really valid points. You fucking helped me through that one. Guru Luna. That's what that is. We talked a bit of tarot.
Guru Luna. Maybe I should put that on my fucking Instagram bio.
Yes.
I don't know.
Also, we're definitely doing tarot readings on this channel, without a doubt. I don't even care if you don't want to. I'll start my own one. I'll just start doing readings for Virgos and Geminis.
No, I could definitely do some tarot with you. Imagine if we did a joint reading.
Is that a good thing? I was thinking that. Like, is that a good thing? Comment below if you give a fuck and you think that that's a good idea. How would that work?
Don't know, but I'm imagining magical things. Don't know how it's gonna happen, but like, when I think about that, it's good. It's all good. No bad vibes. All good vibes. We need to make it happen. Like, my head is just like, do it.
Cool. Joint.
We gotta do it. We gotta do it.
Awesome.
If you want us to do your reading as the test, like
free readings. Free readings. Let's go. This is it.
But we have to, like, not make it a competition, but like, I don't know. Give out. Why should Dan and I do like a dual reading? Like, do you think it would be a good idea for us to do a dual reading? Would you want us to do a dual reading? I don't know. This is assuming that like more than like 2 people watch this fucking video. If not, it's fine. You know what? we'll just fucking Skype my mum and we'll do my mum's tarot.
Exactly. Ugh, you know what we can do once we're together? We can actually Skype someone in and do like a Zoom call with them. You and me on one side, them on the other. Like, we can do that.
Yeah. Yes, we can have, and we could have even someone over, because you can have like 5 people at a house.
Yeah.
It's just not more than 5, right?
I don't know. I think it might be up to like 20 now.
In a house?
Yeah.
Or outside?
I don't know.
That would explain it, because I got invited to a friend.
Yeah. I've been invited places.
In like a couple of weeks from now. And there's like definitely more than 5 people invited. And I was like, am I going to be getting coronavirus if I go to this? Hopefully not. But hopefully we can see. I don't think I would be. But, yeah.
I was going to say something else. About something. It wasn't about corona. It might have been about people. Might have been about readings. Ugh, nah, it's gone. Fuck it. Sorry about it, guys. Sorry.
If it's important, she would have remembered it, basically, at the end of
it. That's it.
So what are you shuffling for?
Because it's fun to do with my hands. That's why. Sorry if you guys are annoyed at the sound of it, but I'm not gonna stop.
Very ASMR. I just thought that you would have you have a purpose to shuffle, or do you just
like I like fiddling with stuff. I'm a very like fidgety person, I found. I feel like that's probably why I fell into being a smoker really easily, because it's something to do with your hands. When you're like drinking or like hanging out, it's something to do with your hands. I like when I'm in my lessons, I'll always be playing with a pen. I need to have something in my hands to like go with. And I don't know why.
That's why I wear so many rings when I go out. Because I like twist them around on my fingers and feel the way that the metal is on the surface of the ring. I don't know. Yes. But I feel that. It's also an anxiety thing for me. Like, maybe you do have anxiety. Not trying to like put that on you. But
I have come to the realization that me not having anxiety is actually me being low-key anxious 100% of the time and not realizing what that is. So, and me just being constantly worried about me and the impact that I'm making on the people around me, or also just myself, if I'm doing the right thing at any time. So when people talk about this big thing that they're going through, and obviously we all suffer different ways, and have different experiences with it, but because it is basically my state of being, I never knew that was a thing. Like, yeah, like I wouldn't know what it's like to be not judged by my race, because it's a thing, you know? I wouldn't know how to experience the other side of that, because I've never not been like, oh, it's a fucking Asian person. It's like, I'm just fucking anxious. Like, so without
I know we said we were going to do like a disclaimer about this, and like not like a disclaimer, but like a whole thing at the beginning of the episode about this. And if we've done that in this episode or a different episode, totally fine, that's cool. But I just want to say, like, on an actual fucking episode that we're filming, because I feel like it's important to say the reason, from my perspective anyway, that we aren't doing an episode solely on the Black Lives Matter or the people of color issue that is happening globally, particularly because of the horrible instances that happen with the police department in America most recently. The reason we're not doing a whole episode on that is not because we don't care. It's because we do fucking care. We care so much that we want to be completely 100% as educated as we possibly can be on the topic before we dive headfirst into it, basically. Am I right? Like,
yes. Okay, we are not authorities on this subject. We are not going to be the first people to be like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to spend this time. We're going to link y'all to whatever we possibly can in the descriptions and on our own personal socials. I know that I'm just trying to spread it out, but for the most part, I'm trying to educate myself. I'm trying to do my part within my community. Exactly. And I just don't feel like y'all want to hear two people that aren't having to deal with the discrimination talk about it like they know. I don't fucking know. I want to spend my time listening to other people that know more stuff about that and listening to their advice. It's what everyone else should be doing as well. We should not be the fucking people you're turning to about it.
Exactly.
So happy to talk about it and realize the importance of it and the urgency about the situation.
We'll spread the message, but using information based off people who are more educated about the topic.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's be honest, we are not like, Dan, you have a POC, like you are a person of color, but I'm not, clearly, and I don't want anyone to think that like even I don't know. Basically, at the end of the day, we, like as Dan said, we're not the right people to be giving you our opinions and our personal accounts of this, because we aren't directly affected in this particular situation. We are both part of minority groups that have our own shit, but that's irrelevant right now. Right now, it is about the Black Lives Matter movement, and we are both 100% supporting that movement, but we are not going to be the people to educate you about that. We, as Dan said, will link you to shit that we have found has been good educationally for us. Personally, in this video, in whatever video we post the thing on, that we do talk about it in more detail. But yeah, we care and we love fucking everyone. And yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I felt like it needed to be added.
Needed to be said. Absolutely. And I want to say what I said since like the first fucking episode. And this is before the most recent protest, and that's take to the fucking streets. Take to the fucking streets is what you should be doing. Highly recommend it for everyone. Do it. Go. And that's that. Anyways, not that we can, and it is such a privilege that we can push past this subject, and I totally acknowledge that it's not okay. And I don't want to just push past it like it isn't a thing, because it still exists. So everyone know that it's still at the forefront of my mind. It has been at the forefront of both of our minds the entire podcast. Yeah. What the fuck we were talking about before this? It was anxiety. We're talking about anxiety. Yes. I'm a bit of an anxious boy. And I use boy in the gender neutral term. BOI, which to me is gender neutral as far as I'm concerned. Also, just like, it's just a neutral term. I'll call inanimate objects boy. How do you feel about that? Is that a weird thing? I don't know. I feel like I call boys cis as well, and it's like, fuck you. It's a gender neutral term, but maybe it's not. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like it really depends on the individual person.
Okay.
Like, I have no issue with that, like, boy being used in whatever term. But then I know that other people would. The only thing I don't like is mate. Like, people think that that's really gender neutral. I'm like, is it? I don't know. I feel like it's because I've listened to too many Aussie blokes use mate in not so friendly ways, that it's just kind of like, I mean, I grew up in Queensland, like, scarred me for life from the word mate.
I honestly,
Yeah,
I
but-
don't think mate is very heavily used in my vocabulary.
It's not used in mine, but I hear it all the fucking time from other people. Like friends use it all the time. Or like, I'm not a, like, I mean, I don't have a problem with the word, but there are better words than that word.
You'll catch me using the C word more than you ever hear me use the word mate. Like, that's fine. It's just like, it's just.
See, I prefer mate to the C word. Not because I have an issue with the C word, but I just think that the way that it's used doesn't honor what it is. Like, it's used in a derogatory way when you say the C word more often than not. And it's not derogatory. A vagina is fucking beautiful and should be honored and treasured. And when you say the C word, it doesn't make it, like, it doesn't, I don't know. It just like.
See, I don't think I use it in a derogatory way. Maybe sometimes I do, but it's just sometimes interchangeable with like this guy. But this guy, and then sometimes I'll be talking about my friend, you know? And like.
But then it's also just like, imagine your friend is like a vagina. Like the whole being.
Yeah, cool.
Because that's
awesome. Great. That's a fucking compliment. Like,
I mean, that's true.
Like if you look at your drunk friend being absolutely wild, imagine any of the lovely girls that we know, and they're just so drunk, they're being a fucking mess, and then you're like, this C word. Isn't that fucking beautiful though? Look at that.
That was literally like 2 weeks ago, but yeah.
Yes, exactly. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful though? Don't you just love that? I think I think it's awesome.
Yeah. When you look at it like that, absolutely. Well, when like you phrase it like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I need to train myself out of thinking about it the way that I think about it. More personal work for Luna. Woohoo.
Oh, personal work galore. Personal work. We're definitely, I'm actually so obsessed about us doing tarot reading. I'm clearly having a moment with me and my cards and tarots, like in general.
Like individually or like the joint reading?
Joint readings? Solo readings? Like, I think like, because you like pick a cards, don't you?
What?
Pick a card? Like that whole thing?
Yeah.
Well, so like maybe if like, because I've seen there's people tend to do the pick a card type things, or they're like, and the people pick a card and then you go on about that, and the video will be like 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 if that's what you want to do. And then there's the other ones that are sign based. So like this is a reading that I'm doing right now for Virgos or Geminis or Pisces or whatever. Or sometimes more specifically, they're done for like the cohort. So like maybe Tarotverse will do a reading for the Tarotverse community, and it's like directed at like these people, you know? So maybe you do the pick of cards and I'll do sign-based ones.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I don't think I have enough of like I could probably do it obviously for Libra, I feel like I could do. And I could probably do Aries and maybe Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I could do, and Capricorn actually.
You couldn't do Leos, could you?
I could not do Leos, and I could
not
definitely not do Cancer. I just don't. And then there are other signs like Saggies. Like I love Saggies.
Yes. Just real quick, I remembered the thing, and now I'm just marking it in my brain. The thing that we were going to talk about. No. It's later. You could do Saggies because you love Saggies.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think I could do Saggies.
Yeah.
And I don't think I could do Virgo. And I don't think I could do Scorpio.
Well, why do you think
I
that
love
is?
these signs, but I just don't think I have enough of a connection, like as a whole, to be able to like read them, if that makes sense. Like without being in, like without being with a person who was of that sign. Like I would have to do the individual person. I couldn't do like a general for a group of people. Like it would have to be an individual or more of a general reading based off of what the cards presented for me for a group of people, if that makes sense.
I think it's perfect, the idea of you doing the picky cards and me doing the signs. I think that just works. That's exactly what we're going to do. I'm so psyched for it. Cool. We can do those whenever. You know what? We're going to talk about that outside of the pod. We're doing tarot readings. Get fucking psyched for it.
Yep, pumped for this, bitch.
Okay, so recently I decided to do the Pisces thing, fucking cutting people off. And that's in the big significant way of like, maybe you don't talk to people anymore, but then you unfriend them on the socials. Have you done this before? Have you unfriended people on the socials recently or not recently?
No, technically no, but I have, with what we were talking about before, the Black Lives Matter movement thing that's happening right now. I've been sharing as much shit about that as I possibly can. No, shit is the wrong word. Sorry, not to offend anyone. I've been sharing as much information about that as I possibly can for people recently. Mm-hmm. And even just people of color in general. I don't know if you saw it on my personal Facebook, but it wasn't to do with the Black Lives Matter. It was to do with this gentleman being discriminated against because of his Asian heritage. And he was basically saying it's impossible to be racist to a white person because it is fucking impossible to be racist to a white person. You can comment on their color and their privilege, absolutely, but you cannot be racist against them because white people are like, we have like, being a white person, I can say this, we have shat over every single civilization that we have like entered into. We've gone into South America, Australia, New Zealand, fucking even parts of Asia as well. Even like, there are so many like different civilizations that we have just literally destroyed over thousands, hundreds, however many years. We've just killed it, basically. And this girl who I was friends with on Facebook commented on this status being like, well, I was discriminated against because I was white because someone called me Aryan scum. And it's like, that's a really unfortunate situation that happened to you. And I'm so sorry that happened, but that is not racism. That's a completely separate issue.
No.
And she like had to go at me and was like, oh, well, someone was judging me for my color, for my race. And it's like, well, I mean,
judging you, yes, they're not oppressing you though.
Exactly. There's a difference between having someone throw a comment at you and the entirety of your race being oppressed for years upon years upon years upon years. And she blocked me because I pulled her up on that.
Fucking
but
dumb.
No, I have personally not unfriended anyone recently.
Yeah. Nice. I think I unfollowed a couple of people recently on Instagram, and they're not people I was close to, just people I was following who like just was saying some stuff, and I was like, all right, that's just not cool. That's in terms of the Black Lives Matter movement. I was thinking more like close personal previously close personal friends that I was just like, I'm actually ready to let this go now. I think I'm gonna shut the door. Like, I'm like, yes, we're not on those terms anymore, but you know what? I'm gonna fucking shut the door now, because me keeping that door open for what? For fucking what? Like, why am I like respect myself too much.
Yeah.
To like let that door stay opened at all. Changed all my privacy settings as well, because I know that my Facebook was very public. So like, even if we weren't friends, you could just kind of see what's going on. Nah, no, don't get to see my life either.
Yeah.
I think I'm just like at that point where I respect myself enough to do that. But back to the whole blocking people because of their stupidity around racism and Black Lives Matter, and fucking thinking that they can be discriminated against because they're white, fucking dumb. Anyways, I find, I know that I shouldn't be, but then I've got a lot of white friends that are just like, will fucking say nothing about it. And I guess that's okay if you're saying nothing about it, but it, I guess it kind of, it gives me the impression like you don't care. And especially like if your profile and your socials were fucking silent and nothing was going on, I would have a less issue than you going about your life and posting your stuff like nothing has changed in your life. You know what? Probably because nothing has changed in your life, and that's sad. It's really, really sad to me that nothing has changed in your life.
Yeah.
And you care enough about social media and the impression that you're putting out into the world to post this, that, and the other that's going on. But what's going on in Australia, in America, in so many other countries, that's not in your life.
I didn't, when this first started, and you know this, and we've spoken about this privately, when it first started a couple of weeks ago, I didn't say anything on socials. I didn't post for maybe like 2 weeks. No, not 2 weeks, like a week about it, because I wanted to learn more and I wanted to get information. But then as soon as I felt like I was in a position where I felt comfortable posting information that I thought was relevant, I posted that. But then you're so right. There have been people who have just said nothing and like gone about life as normal, and it's not. Like, it doesn't matter if you're part of that minority that is affected by this, being people of color, particularly like African, Black people of color, like heritage wise, like it doesn't fucking matter. You need to say something. Like, the problem is white people. Like, we are the problem. And by we, I mean me, not you. But like
I've got privilege. I got so much privilege. I'm not about to like say that I'm not, you know, I don't have the same kind of issues. So I get it. Like, I do feel like there are parts of me that benefit from the oppressors, you know? So as much as I've been discriminated against, it doesn't mean that like it is a problem that we need to fix as oppressors, not that they need to convince us to fix. It's like, no, it's us. It's us. Yeah.
Yes. Like, we need to, it's not a time for us to be silent, because that's been happening for years and nothing's fucking happened. It's a time for us to realize the part that we as white people or as our race have played in this, and correct that and be like, hey, this is fucked up. We need to fucking do something about this right now. I still can't get over the fact that it's 2020 and we're still having this problem. I think it was on your Facebook, I saw that this girl, the first female Black woman to be sent to like private school or like into something about an African American woman being sent to school, like, the first time that had happened was like 46 years ago.
Yeah.
What the fuck? What the actual fuck? What difference does a pigmentation on someone's skin make? It is a pigmentation. That's it. That is literally it. Nothing else. Like, I don't understand. I don't get it. It's like, I mean, like I said before, like, I'm part of other minority groups, and like you are as well. But like, it's not like, it just, like, all of these things that we are fighting for, like, this is the time for the Black Lives Matter movement, absolutely. But what does any of it matter at the fucking day? We're all fucking people. Like, why is my thing moving? I feel like it is. Sorry. Why is, like, god damn this stupid, sorry, it's distracting from how, like, what I'm saying. But it doesn't, like, it shouldn't, what someone looks like, what someone does in their own personal time, none of that should define them as a person unless they're actively going out of their way to hurt someone else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know many, sorry, DIY. I don't know many people, I feel, who are a POC who do that. Like, I know you fucking don't. Like, and then there's this whole, oh my god, there's this whole stigma of, like, I don't know. I'm not educated enough about this, but it just, the whole situation just fucking annoys me. Like, it shouldn't be a situation that we're having at all, in any way, shape, or form. It should just, like, people should just be fucking accepted for who they are, regardless of what they look like. It's just, yeah. It's dumb, it's stupid, and I hate it. And my tripod is shitting itself. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's my arm.
I think what drives me insane is that, like, it's been centuries of slavery and oppression, and this is something that fucking gets me riled. Every Australia Day, and then, like, there's National, like,
Invasion
Sorry
Day.
Yes, Invasion Day. And it's just that, like, there are so many perspectives of, like, but that was in the past. And those, I didn't do that. No one's doing that to you now. And that kind of stuff. And it goes hand in hand with this whole idea that, like, I'm really sick of hearing about this kind of stuff. Like, it is so easy for you to have that perspective when you have not experienced the centuries of slavery and the repercussions of what that did, and the centuries of oppression and the repercussions of what that does, not only in your mentality, your culture's mentality, but also the other culture's mentality and how they perceive you. Because the systematic racism is just rife within people, just every system, through schooling, through, like, education, through jobs, in the economy, in, like, the justice system. Like, it's all there, and it's all a repercussion of what's happened over centuries. So it's such a fucking easy perspective to be like, oh, but get over it. It's like, you would not have that perspective if you hadn't had to experience any of it. I feel like maybe a very small, like, analogy is, like, if you were in an abusive relationship for a really, 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 really fucking long time, and then things got better, and that person who was the abuser was like, but that was in the past, I don't know why you want to let that go, like, I'm not like that anymore, like, you just need to get over it. Like, because it's easy for the oppressor to say that, you know what I mean?
Yes, because I shared something about this on my Facebook the other day, almost exactly word
Oh my
for
gosh,
word
that's
what you
probably why
said.
I'm fucking bringing it up, because
Yeah.
I'm just
And
regurgitating fucking statuses, like.
And there was this whole debate with like one of my, like a girlfriend that I have on the thing, and she was like, "You don't honestly believe this, do you?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." Like someone, like, oh, 2 ticks. I'm not gonna read the comment part of it, but I'm gonna read the post, because with this particular thing, I this girl who commented on it, who said that, she was a good friend of mine, and I thought that she just, like, I don't know, maybe misunderstood what I said. And so I took the time to like have a conversation with her about it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I explained it to her in a way that I felt like she understood better than the original post. And she was like, "Oh, okay, I get it now. Like, this makes sense." And I think that that's also, again, like, I'm not a person of color, but I think that that's something that's important for everyone to do. Like, take that 5 seconds after, obviously, the shock of someone commenting something that it seems like bizarre, to be like, okay, maybe they just don't get it, and like explain it in a different way that they would be able to relate to. And like in this situation, it worked for her. Hang on 2 seconds. Sorry, bear with me.
Luna put herself on mute. I don't know why she put herself on mute, but she did. Does she know? Luna? Nah, she knows. She must know. Okay, cool. Well, while Luna is not talking to me, or is she doing it now? Is she fixing it? No. You ready to talk to me now?
Yeah, I'm good. I just put myself on mute because I didn't want you to listen to me cough and tell me that I have coronavirus when I don't have coronavirus.
Okay. It's okay if you do, you know.
But I don't.
Okay.
I actually, like, literally, I've seen one person in in like the space of basically this entire time. I have not left my house. I don't have coronavirus. I just talk all fucking day on the phone, and I don't drink enough water, and so my throat just gets really dry really easily. It's a scientifically proven fact. Anyway, the status that I was referring to is as follows. Once I get more comfortable. Sorry about it. It says the police kneeling with and hugging protesters is like when your abusive boyfriend brings you flowers after hurting you. When he makes a grand gesture of love in front of your friends, it's to pressure you into forgiveness. It's manipulation. It's abuse. Don't fall for it. Same fucking thing.
Same
Anyway,
fucking thing.
I need
All
to
right.
pee.
Bye. And we're back.
Hello.
Hello.
But that post that I quickly shared before I had to rush off to the bathroom because I have the bladder of an 80-year-old was, yes, I don't know, exactly, I feel like what you were saying before about like abusive partners, abusive relationships, and how like this whole...
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Hi.
You're funny.
Basically, I just need to get like an actual fucking setup instead of like a shitty little tripod, so that I don't break everything.
We'll have like a whole, we'll set up the room, and we'll even do a room tour when we do our first little pod.
But basically, is this gonna work for me? Work for me, please. Knock over the wine. Oh my god. Okay. Oh my god, this is so DIY. Okay. And then we just need to adjust that part of it. Amazing. Awesome. Not a great angle, but it's fine, you know. We'll roll with it. At least it doesn't hopefully fall over this time. But yeah, it's just exactly what you were saying, the similarities between like abusive relationships and this whole fucking fucked up situation that the world
is. It's one one huge giant abusive relationship. Like, it's exactly it is. It's the relationship between the different cultures, and it has been fucking abusive. There is no other word for it other than oppressive and abusive.
And heaps of people are saying, oh, like, the world is so fucked up now. It's like, no, honey, the world has always been fucked up. It's just that your perception of the world is, like, actually changing to what it's been like for vast amount of people instead of having the rose-colored glasses on.
World is
like, the glasses are being exactly. Yes. And, like, it's great that it's waking up, but it's also fucked that it's taken this long, and it's fucked that it's been happening in the first place. Like, it never should have fucking happened. But what can we do? We've just got to make it better now for the future generation.
The exact question, what can we do? We take to the fucking streets. We've been saying this. I swear to God, me saying that at the start is me just another premonition on Dan's list of funky premonitions, but it's just generally good advice, you know, when things are wrong, do things about it to change it.
Yeah.
That's what you should do. Don't just let it sit, be wrong, accept like, oh, but that's the way it is. No, why? Who said? Fucking why? No, nah.
Would you accept that in your life? If, like, not necessarily you, because obviously we know that you fucking wouldn't, but like normal people, would you, like, people who are watching this, all three of you, would you accept something going wrong in your life and just be like, and like let it sit for years and years and years and years if it made you physically uncomfortable and feel like you were physically at risk? Would you let that sit? Would you be able to ignore that for years? Would you be able to deal with that and compartmentalize that for years? There are fucking children all over the fucking world that are realizing at the age of, like, too young. Like, I don't even, like, what, like 5? Between, like, 5 and, like, 8 years old, that their skin determines how they get treated by people who are there to protect them, along with the general fucking population. Like, that is just so fucked up. Like, it's
wrong. It's wrong. It is innately wrong. Take to the fucking streets.
That's not even, like, enough of, like, a description against it. Like, innately wrong, yes, it is. It's so completely fucking innately wrong. But, like, it shouldn't, like, it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't exist. Like, this whole, like, racism shouldn't exist. It shouldn't be a thing that we have to be concerned about. Like, I can't. Like, I can't.
It's, like, interesting for me to watch you say that racism shouldn't exist, because I understand where your fire is coming from, but I also understand that like the reason why you can't accept it is because you've never had to deal with it, where I can readily accept that racism exists because it's all I've known.
Yeah, and like that in itself
That's
is fucked
fucked.
up.
It's fucked. It's fucked.
Why is I'm not
It's fucked.
saying
No. I'm not. It's just that it's so interesting because I can see you being like, and you're right. Every word that you're spewing is right. But I've got so much privilege where it's literally, you're just worn down. You are from the get-go. Like, that's just how it is, though. It's not even in the disbelief. Like,
why should it be like that? It shouldn't fucking be like that. I don't understand. Like, it makes me so mad. Like, so fucking mad. Because it just...
I think that you're touching on some great points, and that, like, why, and the pain of like people who are discriminated against have to ask themselves, but why me? Why do me as a person like have to get treated this way?
Exactly.
It's
but that's the thing, we shouldn't have to ask why, whether I'm asking why on behalf of other people or whether an individual is asking why because it's happening to them. Like, that why question, that question shouldn't have to be asked. Like, it just... White people are so fucked.
Yeah. I think the why question disappears at a pretty early age when you realize that like asking why doesn't get you anywhere when the system doesn't tend to change. But like, take to the fucking streets. I cannot say it enough. It doesn't have to exist. We don't have to be this way. We don't have
And
to.
that's the thing as well. And the fact is that like we mentioned before, like COVID, like people were fucking protesting during COVID. I would have fucking been there if I could have, but I had work, so I couldn't. But like, we're in a fucking global pandemic and people felt like it was necessary, which it is, by the way. I'm in full support of this protest happening, but people felt like it was necessary, even though like it's going to increase the likelihood and probably the intensity of a second wave that's coming. Like, it's still happened.
Yeah, it's going to happen and it's going to suck that people died. But like, you know how many people, like Black people in custody have died? No.
Exactly.
This is the pandemic. Racism is the pandemic.
Exactly. Yes, I shared something about that earlier on today on my Facebook. Actually, it's like my Instagram, which and it's like 467 people in Australia, I believe, in the last like couple of years. I forget the time frame, but have died, and then because of COVID, it's been like. And again, not taking away from any of these lives that have passed away, but like 100 and something. Like, when you look at the statistics, and then in America as well, like this isn't as relevant for us, but in the States, it's like COVID is more likely to affect someone of an African American descent, and yet they're the people who have more, I think, again, the numbers aren't exact, but like they work in the health industry more. The number of African American people who are nurses, who are doctors, who are there is larger than white people. And yet they're like, it's, I don't know, we'll find links and put all of this information in there, but like it just doesn't. I don't know. And the fact that, like, as you said before, like, I'm upset about this because I haven't experienced this. Yes, absolutely. But then it's also just like, and I mean, obviously you're upset about it as well from a different point of view. But like, why, as a white person who has been so privileged, do I feel like I have to speak up so much about this? Like, if that makes sense. Like, I want to speak up about it. I'm happy to speak up about it. But, like, it shouldn't need to be something that is spoken up about. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah. I understand it. I've lived my whole life being like, this is not a fair thing. Why does it happen? This shouldn't be a thing. Like, you're right.
I'm so fucking sorry that you have had to deal with this.
Look, I've got my privileges.
Like, I can't even imagine though. Like, feeling like the color of your skin is gonna affect like the safety of like you going outside. Like, and I mean, in Australia, I guess even then, like, we're lucky because we haven't had it as bad in terms of like. No, but even
no, it's fucking bad. I definitely don't feel like unsafe. Obviously, I've got my privileges. I'm half white. It's more to do with the shape of my eyes than anything else. And like aside from being like fetishized and stereotyped and
people
often
actually
just
say that.
like, huh?
People actually say that to you?
Like what?
Like fetishize, or is that just?
Oh no, that's just them being like, oh, like, I find your ethnicity really sexy. Like, just focusing on that and really honing in on that. It's fine. Like, it's it's what it is. Look, this conversation is not about me. I'm not about to make this conversation about me because it's not. I've got my privilege, but I just understand the perspective that, like, you just get to a point where you just realize you've accepted your whole life that it exists. You stop questioning why, because you're right, at too young of an age you ask yourself, but why? Why though? Because I don't feel any different from anyone else, and I don't see anyone else differently from me, so why do they see me differently? You stop asking that. It's too painful of a fucking question. You can't keep getting mad about it. At some point, it just exists all the time. Like, the sky is fucking blue and people look at me based on this and they're going to make judgments about it. You can't keep getting mad about that. But what you can get mad at is when people fucking die systematically based on that. And that's why you take to the fucking streets. Like, that's what you do. Like, take to the streets. Take to the fucking streets.
Seriously, though. Take to the fucking streets. If there's more protests by the time that this is uploaded as well, we will be posting the details of them down below. For Australia, since we are in Australia, we're not going to be putting the ones for the states up there. But we will be putting all the available information that we can find to do with this relevant to where we are in the world.
We've got to fight our battles. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And yeah, I don't know. We were going to, as I said before earlier in the episode, we were going to do like a bit at the beginning, and we might still potentially do that, but I kind of got to...
We got carried away.
Sorry. We're just very, very passionate about
it. We are, and so we should be, and it's a good thing. Everyone should be fucking mad and worked up about it.
And again, like, that in itself, like, we shouldn't have to apologize for being passionate about this. And it actually fucking disgusts me that there are so many people who aren't passionate about this, who don't care. Like, it just makes me so angry. I just don't get it. anyway, sorry, I'm just gonna drink more wine and I'll be fine. Or maybe that'll make it worse. I don't know.
No, everyone's got to stay passionate. Everyone's got to stay fucking angry until there's nothing to be angry about. I think that's a really, really important thing. If there's any takeaway from this, it's stay fucking mad about it. Take to the fucking streets. Yeah? Don't let your complacency hit you. Don't get tired of it.
Don't become complacent in this fucking broken system. This system is broken. No matter whether you're in Australia, no matter whether you're in America, no matter whether you're in fucking Taiwan, Japan, India, the system is fucking broken. It is fucked up. And we need to, as human beings, as citizens of this planet, we need to fucking change that. And it's not going to come from the top. It has to come from us and work its way up to the top. That's why protests are effective. That's why riots are effective. Unpopular fucking opinion, but they are effective. They just need to be consistent and well thought out.
All right. I got ahead. Everyone stay mad. Stay consistent. Get on it. Take to the streets.
Bye. We love you.
Bye.